Welcome to Story Scaling by podcastvideos.com, where creators share the truth behind the content, the grind, and the growth. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, boys and girls, I am Bang of podcastvideos.com. This is Story Scaling, and I'm here with a obviously well-dressed good brother of mine.
Stop it. Eddie Armstrong, man. Nice to be here, Bang. Thanks for having me, brother.
Eddie, thanks for joining us, man.
Word.
Usually I'm the one that got it on.
Okay.
And you caught me slipping today. You know what I'm saying?
You repping B for Bang, and you got, it's all legit. You are in your skin. This is a good flow for this rainy day. I just been in several meetings and trying to get my nephew hopefully acclimated and interested in the University of Arkansas. I want them all to be hogs.
Man, you said something profound off camera. You said, this is just me. It ain't a special day.
No.
It's just you.
No, yeah. This is definitely just me. It was probably 10th grade, the 90s, tall tees. Colors were real, sets were real, neighborhoods had their own colors and schemes. Everybody that was clocking any kind of bread allegedly had a pair of J's. And me and my buddies grew up in a neighborhood informing each other on our decisions.
Sure.
In the Jefferson Manor. If you know from anything from North Little Rock, you know that I'm a North Little Rock guy. But my homeboys and I just kind of made this decision that it started with a pair of sandals. Nike came out with some sandals in the summer, and we all copped the sandals. And then they came out with a canvas shoe, and we copped the canvas shoes. We all bought them. And then the older cats that were like 2 years older than us, and we were maybe going to the 8th or 9th grade, said, when we start school, we're going to all start wearing Dockers. And back in the day, khakis, but we got every color of Dockers or ask our parents to get them, and Levi's. And then we decided if you can get 1 or 2 shirts on your Christmas list, ask for like a heel figure or a polo. And we weren't thinking nothing of it, but we really made this conscious choice to start dressing as they call preppy, with a belt tucked in and clean, and you could count on that consistency. And for a minute, everybody's like the pretty boys, but we were way in high school, really no exposure to like college life and Kappas and all the pretty boys or the Qs. This was just a group of high school guys who was like, we not finna dress sagging, showing our draw, because we kept hearing our mama say that. And then big clothes, we wore that for a while, but over time we started just to create and invent our own style, and it stuck. And then by the time we got to college, we were cutting our long sleeves off, and wearing them before that became popular on your flannel long sleeve shirts. We cut them off in the summer and just started to get real fashionably fly. And it stuck. So though it's not a big, huge closet, I got the right pieces, and I just, let's go.
Love it, bro.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to dive way, way deep into the swag. Yeah, we're going to dive deep into the swag, man. So I put a bio together. You obviously a man of many talents, and I'm sure a lot of things. This will not encompass all of it, but I just need you to let me know either Bang, you on the right track, or throw this in. Let's add this.
Yeah, man.
It says, Mr. Eddie Armstrong is a dynamic leader, a seasoned public servant, and passionate advocate for progressive change. A former Arkansas State legislator, Armstrong has consistently worked at the intersection of policy, equity, and entrepreneurship. He is founder and CEO of Armstrong and Associates, a respected public affairs government relations firm based in Arkansas, where he helps clients navigate complex policy landscapes with integrity and strategic insight. Eddie recently launched the Strong with Armstrong podcast, a platform that brings together thought leaders, change makers, and everyday people to share stories of resilience, empowerment, and innovation. With roots in community organizing and a deep commitment to social justice, including work in the cannabis policy and business space, Armstrong continues to shape conversations that matter in Arkansas and beyond.
Word. I mean, that's in the bucket.
Is that it?
Oh, you pulled up for the J. Bucket. Halftime. No, that's the words that stand out, though, because bios can get lengthy.
Sure. And
accolades and awards can become many.
Yeah.
But integrity, change agent, establishing something that is a brand and something sustainable and longevity.
Sure.
And at the front of all of that, maintaining a commitment to service first.
Yeah.
I'm a servant leader through and through. With or without any money in my pocket, I'm gonna serve. Be it opening the door for somebody, helping an old lady get her bags. Your kids don't do that no more, but I used to be the kid. Seeing a lady walk out with a couple bags, I'm gonna help her get them bags to the car, open the door for her, put them bags in, help her get her stuff out the basket. So in any and every way that it moves me, not that I have to think about it, to serve somebody, I'm gonna try to serve. And whether it's serving them with fashion, because you just never know who's watching.
Absolutely.
Or serving them through intellect and conversation.
Absolutely.
That's what I aim to do, is be service driven, and everybody can be great because everybody can serve.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody can be great because everybody can serve. Shout out to the greatest of all, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Shout out.
But no, that hits it in the head. And my bio isn't a makeup of all Eddie Armstrong. None of us get where we are. I think we were chopping it up before we came on camera today, and you were talking about your connections to the music label and your relationships. And for now, my relationships, would I do something, be something, make something? Yes, absolutely. It's in me, not on me.
Sure.
But the people definitely help shape and maintain and pour into me in a way that I have enough to pour out to other people.
Love it,
The
man.
people that I keep around me, yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. Whenever I'm asking people what stands out, that's the first question on the podcast. So you took it there already automatically. You see that things like integral and change maker.
Yeah.
Who were some of those people for you coming up that you looked at and you said, man, I like how they carry themselves. It might not be what's popular, but I know they're going to do what's right. That bled over into the person that you are today.
That's a melting pot at this stage. I mean, I get the category because of the gray in my face, but I'm a young 46.
Yeah.
But everybody calls me Unc now, or school, or all that stuff, whatever, especially my people. But it's a melting pot of people, black, white. I believe in learning from younger people, young and old, seasoned veterans, and young people that may be able to tell me or teach me something different. As young as my 9-year-old little boy Edison, to nephews and cousins, showing me things like it's still okay to be quiet sometimes and be a sponge as opposed to always running and gunning. And some of my young people teach me that, but the list is too long with mentors, advisors, supporters, prayer warriors, lovers, people that just love me and love to love and want to see me in my best light.
Yeah.
So I couldn't put my finger on one or two because it's just grown so much, and I'm certainly blessed and fortunate that I have had and do have a personality to be able to receive it. And not only to receive it, but we have to always caution ourselves. I think it was in a magazine I read one time that a multi-successful billion-dollar company did reverse mentorships. People in management and new phases of their jobs in this company were put in positions to mentor and advise the CEO and executives of the job.
Wow.
That switched up, of course. The executives and CEOs would lead the course, but they dialed back into what this new crop was doing, and oftentimes we're on a course, and we've got the investor relations division, the sales division, the R&D division, and everybody's on their lane, on their jobs, and directors of HR and directors of these divisions, or EVPs and SVPs, and those titles and those jobs become so demanding that we don't take a pause to humanize the workforce and say, all right, well, maybe let's do some learning exchange.
Right.
Maybe we're missing something.
Right.
As we're talking about why we choose to do away with DEI, or just let's say diversity, because it wasn't, and it never has been, in my opinion, about race with diversity, because it's such a broad scale when you talk about religion, race,
Absolutely.
age, life situations, proximity, environment,
Preferences.
purpose. Yeah, so it's a bigger thing, and I'm happy and I'm full most days because of the people that have helped shape me. It's a good pot of mentors, and then I'm always down and open in the game to pull another G over, young YG, and say, hey man, let me tell you, I was just thinking this, take it if you want, unsolicited advice. And then sometimes I say, before I open my mouth, tell me if you want my advice. Maybe you just call to park your situation with me. And if you want my feedback, I'll give it. But if not, I listened. We can keep it cool right there and keep it moving. And so I'm learning that that's valuable. It adds value, and those relationships stick. I am a relationship master. I know what it takes to make the first introduction and keep a relationship for 50 years if necessary, 30 years. For as long as I've been on earth, I've had some relationships that just have lasted the test of time because I love quality relationships.
Sure.
You know, whether you talk to them once a year or once a week.
Yeah. Man, it's dope hearing you communicate. I feel like when I speak sometimes, I go off on a tangent and I forget where I'm at. But you always dial it back. And so that's what I got to say on the mentor. And I think that's dope. It's a through line of intentionality and consistency there for sure.
You know, my partners in crime tell me I speak in hyperbole. And I kind of got a little frazzled about that until I learned that in that is a sense of speaking direct.
Absolutely.
And my political chops oftentimes have you speak it broad. But then it's so important, especially for your constituents and your community folks, people in my church, my mama even, to bring that thing all the way back to Main Street.
Absolutely.
And say, break that down so that I can understand it. Help me see it through the non-political lens or the non-corporate lens, because you get into acronyms and this and that. And they're like, hold on, you lost me.
Yeah.
So you have to always, I think, especially if you have a gift to speak, be able to maybe speak abroad and then bring it back to a central place that people can tap in.
I think it's more difficult now. I'm a writer, so I do music and all different types of things. But when I was growing up, I used to think it was profound to be this eloquent speaker with all the words in your toolbox. One of my mom's favorite stories to tell is when I was 10, I told her I ran out of words. Every word I know in my head I've used. So like, I need you to now give me new words that I could say. Like, I don't want to say I'm cold. I want to say it's frigid in here. You know what I'm saying? And so she laughs at that. But now I realize that the more simple you can make something, a lot of times says more about how intelligent you are, because people always want to know. It don't matter if you're a CEO or a super educated person. Break this down to me like I'm 10 years old. Break this down like you're speaking to a 6-year-old. And I think you do a good job of just communicating, these maybe complex principles. And,
did you learn more words? Are you multilingual now?
Nah. I mean, at that time, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And I took some different languages in school. But now it's like, man, I'll say what needs to be said and just keep it pushing. Whatever I need to elevate the vernacular, I do. But I try to keep it simple.
They're shortening it up too. Speaking of the vernacular, my little man and I will eat words like suspect, or we used to say as bussin', as a term of saying that's dope or that's cool. So we might be out now. My little man might be like, Dad, that's sus.
That's sus, or that's buzz.
That's buzz.
And that's
I'm
it.
like, okay. I'm with it.
That's
I'm
it.
learning from him. So it's new language. He got new words for sure.
Absolutely. Man, take me back to the young Eddie. What I'm talking about, as far back as you can remember, what did you want to do? Did you see yourself then like you are now? Did you have any idea? Like, let's go back and let us in as much as you care to. I know that's a big question.
Yeah, so people are going to see this all over the world, and especially my day ones, my A1 day ones, no play ones, the guys that have been there, my classmates from 6th and 7th grade. And I just, I'd be remiss to say that, I was really touched and impacted at a young age to know that I had a gift, and that gift was to help people. And then that transformed into me saying, well, if you want to help people, what are you going to be? What are you going to do with that? And so probably about the time I started to really smell myself and know that I had a gift and know I could do things and knew how to keep myself in alignment and had great support in my church and community. Anybody that knows me knows and will tell you that the Eddie Armstrong you see sitting in front of you is the Eddie Armstrong, just an adult version of this young dreaming kid. Anderson .Paak has a great song called Dreamer. And every time I hear this one, shout
out to Anderson .Paak. Yeah, that's the one.
I gave up.
Yeah.
I'm a product of the tube and the free. Anyway, I've been a dreamer.
It's a good song.
For a long period of time, a visionary. I've had dreams, ideas, passions, and desires, and they've always tended to center around how can I help my fellow man or woman. and a huge insatiable desire to be around and learn and get into stuff with people that weren't like me, that didn't look like me, maybe that didn't come where I came from, because I always had my base root. I knew who my real A1s were, guys and girls in my neighborhood that had my back no matter what. So when I left off the porch in my own neighborhood, I just had a hunger and thirst to be over here and over there and in the art room and in the band room and in the drama department and out on the bat and before hoop practice with my partners that's playing basketball, and I was everywhere. But at the same time, it was always driven by trying to be a part of what can change look like. And that is, no matter who's been in office or elected, change just never stops. So I'd soon say, man, the young kid in me was just dreaming.
Yeah.
I was just dreaming and having visions of what can I do and how can I be and who can I be and who can I help.
Sure.
I tell people oftentimes when I'm giving speeches, I got a real bad diagnosis of a case of the can't help it. It's just something in me sometimes when my phone rings. If you come through, if you need it and I got it, and sometimes if I don't to a fault, I'll try and find a way. Because I think it comes back, I know it comes back way bigger than what I can even put my hands around. I am so blessed and full and rich, you know, beyond monetary rich because of what I've put in and what comes back without me even looking for it. From people that I never know are watching, from my scholarships to get to college, to my time in college. I never had a clue who was checking me out when I was doing community service in high school and junior high. And brother pulled me over, blessing to Mr. Wellington, won a scholarship, $20,000, front page of newspaper, first day of school, Jet magazine 2 weeks later, Ebony magazine a month after that. Me traveling all over the country, Oprah, president, professional football, basketball. I was everywhere and here at Fayetteville, flying out of old Drakeville. All over the country as a freshman and sophomore here at the U of A. And but it was all because of what I didn't even know somebody was peeping about. This kid's really committed to helping other people. We're gonna help him.
Let's go there.
What?
Take us there. Like, how? You know what I'm saying? I used to read the magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so if even just for a couple minutes, touch on that, man. Like, what?
So I came out of a time in the '90s when Little Rock, Arkansas was the murder capital of the world per capita. More young people were being shot and or killed. Statistics show today that between the ages of 1 and 44, I think, or something like that, you're bound either to get killed or die if you're black. And growing up, for me, that was a big statistic. You're either going to go to jail, have a baby out of wedlock, or die before you turned 18. And now the real statistics are, I graduated, I'm 46, so I made it. And that gave me chills. I was a little bit scared, and then I lost a friend early on, Kendall, who was murdered one summer when Mike Tyson had a fight, and we were all away. He was shot, but he was the only guy in our neighborhood banging. And he was the only real gangster we knew. And he lost his life to banging. And it was unfortunate. But sometimes the worst things can make the best things out of you. And some of me and my homeboys, I think, with his death, took that on. It's like, we're going to switch this thing up. I went on from there, adapted into helping people, community service. I was a kid in my Boys and Girls Club, big advocate and proponent of that. A man that went on to die right after I won this national award. I was a national spokesperson for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. It's a National Youth of the Year award you win. And it's sponsored by Reader's Digest. So I went to DC, competed nationally for that, won. And when I came back to Little Rock, Mr. Weathington called, because he's just a special kind of cat like that. The local police had a police escort, cameras when I got off the plane, like your life changed. Like you went to I call it like a Miss America pageant or something. You come home, you're getting all the hometown hero love.
Absolutely.
So cameras, lights, action. I fall right into it, love it. I had been Boys State governor right before that, so I kind of got some aptitude to speaking because even back in my church I was speaking. But became Boys State governor, won that award.
Shout out to Henry County.
Shout out.
Yeah, with the voice.
Okay, word, boys, staters. Made me good. But built on that Boys and Girls Club scholarship. And when that happened, they gave you 20,000, or you win a pot of money to go to college. But you are now the youth spokesperson. And at the time, I was the youth spokesperson for 2.8 million young people around the United States. It's grown tremendously. I was the voice for young people. Here's my story. There are many more like it. Though mine is this. There's several other kids from Opelika, Florida to Eudora or Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, that have similar or their own stories. And my Boys and Girls Club was my safe haven for that. And I maxed that story out. But I had already been given this gift to speak.
Sure.
And it just perpetuated. So I was invited to New York. Shaquille O'Neal was a big name in the league. He gave $1 million to the Boys and Girls Club near Rucker Park. I was invited out to speak and present the check. Jet Magazine was there. I was in Jet Magazine the next week.
Wow.
When I made it to college, my freshman year, that, like I said, those first 2 weeks, I was in the Arkansas Traveler front page before I even knew anything about the U of A, announcing freshman wins, $20,000 scholarship, and has a picture of me with something at the airport. So,
how are you handling all of this? Are you the type of person that the attention is too much, it's overwhelming, or are you taking it on like you know?
I made some
Tom
missteps.
Cruise on the red
I
carpet?
didn't know. It's like I liken it to my YGs and my nephew and others with NIL. Once you get something that you hadn't had, if you hadn't been trained on how to deal with it, it can be a little different. Yeah. And my mom was the type of mother that she gave me all she could, and when she couldn't give no more, she was like, "You got it from here." So she dropped me off, and her words were really simple, like, "Okay, excuse me to your listeners, but don't fuck this up.
Absolutely.
You know, this is what you got to do. You know what to do. I've trained you. I've given you all I can give you. Go and make good on it. You've got scholarship. You've got a job. You've got a dorm room. Make me and yourself proud." And ego is a real thing.
Sure.
As a man now, knowing and looking back, all of that can kind of get a little bit flighty. But then I had homeboys that were playing basketball and big stars on campus, so I was around other big names and I was nothing. And then I had some real homeboys that had pledged Omega and other things, and they were pulling me to the side and saying, "Hey man, just step light, but be you. You know, stay true to who you are." The environment is one at the time when it was 90+% white versus black, you know, on campus. Probably 18,000 students at the time. We're at like 30,000 now, 28,000 at the U of A campus. And so I had to really learn how to navigate that with a true place of authenticity.
Sure.
And once I tapped into that, it was on.
Yeah.
And that propelled me. But yeah, that freshman year, you come in, yeah. And, you know, and then you might get a wink and a smile from this girl or that thing or this thing. And that's fool's gold and a distraction. But I had to learn my hard lessons.
Absolutely.
And I did, and got scared out of my shorts. Almost lost my scholarships and disappointed my mom. But again, great people kept me locked in. I dialed in even deeper. And by the time I became a senior in 2000, I was the second black president of the University of Arkansas in the school's history.
Wow.
Yeah, since 1972, when the first one was elected, Gene McKissick, and I got a chance to be blessed to see him yesterday. He was the first black president of a predominantly white institute in the entire South in 1972, here at the University of Arkansas. And he's still a breathing, living legacy and icon. But I got a chance to holler at him when it was my time to run. And he gave me some real jewels. And one of them was to be authentic, stay true to self, mix and be with everybody. It's not enough that you carry your skin. It's yours. We know you're black. But there are other people, and you need to know them all. And they need to know that they know you. And it worked like a jewel. That, along with, you know, my white Greek friends and my black Greek friends and all of the other non-Greek and athletes. So really, college became, at that point, by the time I was a senior, a way of life.
Sure.
We knew how to have fun, but we also knew how to take care of business. And I take care of business now. So I live by 3 F's. When I used to give my Boys and Girls Club speech and U of A orientation speeches, I made straight F's at one point because my mom and dad had split, and I'm dealing with my own issues on that and not paying attention in class and up and down and getting what they call trouble, but I made straight F's. And I wasn't proud of it, but out of that, I adopted a 3F rule. And I tell people all the time, it's so important that you have fun in this life, no matter what you do. You wake up, it can be the worst day. Rent due, things crazy, something. Try to imagine, think of something. Try to have an ounce of fun. And people say I'm too serious sometimes, but I know how to have some good fun. So have fun, stay focused, and finish whatever you set your mind out to start. If you start something, finish it. If it's just taking the trash out and you're going to commit to it for a week, if you want to get a sweet jump shot, work on it, but finish the task. There's something to be said about non-finishers. You know, it's important that you have some fun along the way, though, because this life isn't meant to be so serious.
Yeah.
So you got to have fun, stay focused, and finish. And that's what I try to do every day, man.
Man, you dropping some gems on us.
Word.
You dropping some gems on us.
It's just a life well lived. Lots of stuff coming my way, man. And anything I can give, I feel like it's a gift because I'm going to get it back, like I said, in a true return. I like seeing this position you in, Bang. It's an inspiration to my nephew and others, you know, as we ride around Northwest Arkansas. You come up here with one perception and one state of mind. And when we came, it was like, be careful.
Absolutely.
But now this world has opened up even more. It's global. It's California. It's New York. It's Chicago. It's Texas. And it's Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Right here in the heartland. And it deserves its look as people are coming in here to first understand that when you come to the heartland and you come to the South and you come to Arkansas especially, what makes us strong, the reason I created this podcast is because I know from all of my travels that our people are our strongest asset. We got some real, genuine, good folks here across the board. And if we can see people as opposed to race and opposed to power and dominance, and Arkansans tend to do that pretty lightly and easily. You can meet a stranger and it's, hey, how you doing?
Absolutely.
Everybody ain't like that.
Absolutely.
You know, you can walk certain places, speak to somebody in another city, and they may not, and they hear you and won't speak.
I mean, you've been all over the world. You've seen a lot of different cultures where it's not the same.
Oh, no. And our people are bar none one of, I think, our greatest assets. And, of course, our environment, our way of life, quality of life. It's still, in some ways, a big rural 3 million people state.
Totally.
You know, you got the capital city, you got Northwest Arkansas, and now Northeast Arkansas is booming. But most of this place is rural and rich with good, solid folk. You got Fort Smith booming now, but yeah, that's the formula, man. I think our people are our greatest asset.
Sure.
And when I see people like you doing what you're doing, and this invitation is grand, you know, one of the questions Chris asked me is, why did we start Stronger with Armstrong podcast?
That's what
in front of a live studio audience. Were you jumping in?
This conversation feel almost divine because I feel like no, it's perfect. I'm not doing much work. This is really your podcast.
It might be like Jesus take the wheel, he take the wheel.
It's just rolling. Like literally, my next question was, let's jump into the pod. Before I say that though, is there an intention in the 3 F's? You have fun first. Is it a reason why you said have fun? Focus, finish what you start?
You know, I never had that question asked, but I probably lay it on my mom's lap. You know, my mom is the oldest of her siblings. Aunt Diane is what my cousins call her. Her name is Jackie. But when now that I'm raising a little boy, when she was raising my sister and I, and then help raise my cousins. It was just all hands-on.
Absolutely.
Most people, when they see my mom, Miss Armstrong, Miss A as my homeboys call her, they say, Miss A don't play. And she was just devout and very serious about how we were raised. She was one of them women.
Absolutely.
I seen her laugh and have a good time with her girlfriends, maybe on a Sunday here and there, but it wasn't, we going out tonight, y'all be good. She wasn't going to the dance, you know, going to a social event, none of that. And I think growing up, watching her take this thing so serious to raise us to the best of her ability and get us off to a good start as young adults and people, I had to take my Aunt Velma, who was the fun auntie, and my Aunt Molly, who was the super fun auntie.
Yeah.
Shout out Aunt Mo. they just made life fun. 4th of July holidays, man, full stop. She doing everything for everybody she could because she wanted us to all have a good time.
Yeah.
And Molly gonna give you a good laugh and have some good times with you. And that's, so I look at those ladies in that time when there wasn't a lot of men formulating it for me and my cousins and the boys. And we had uncles and stuff like that, but we were primarily raised by the women, my mama, my moms, my aunties. And especially my mom, because that's who I spent the most time with. I was like, you know what? With all this thinking she's making me do, because she just demanded that if you do nothing else in this life, you're going to be a great thinker. You're going to think. Think about your decisions. Think about your right and wrong. Some of my greatest punishments as a kid was to go in my room and think about it. And I was like, damn, this is weak, you know? Just give me a spanking.
Sometimes you rather whoop it. Sometimes you rather get the whooping.
But now I think about it as an older man, and I think about brothers that maybe did do stupid things and had to go sit down for a bid. And that time that it took them to sit in there and think about what they had done to come out a different person.
Sure.
Or a pastor, or a CEO, or the tech guy in the Coldplay concert. You got to think about that. You know, sure, you're having fun. So I just took it on myself that I'll be dang if I go through this life and not make it worth living by having some fun first, out the gate.
I love it.
So when I wake up, fun to me, 2.5 miles on the elliptical. Because I know my spirit's going to be jamming. I might get a good workout in. Fun to me might be sitting in my floor, getting my yoga and meditation in first, and getting out of there and turning on some Larry June in the car just to vibe out on my way to the crib. That's fun to me. Locking in on a group text with my homeboys and joking. Fun. Now we can go to a whole nother level.
Right.
Parties, dancing, like we used to, good times, live music, a vibe. I'm there too.
You coming to the show tonight, right?
Bar none. I ain't seen live music since I've been here. You tell me 1,000 people in Bentonville.
You gotta be there.
My people with me. I'm just and I love that my family's here with me because he gets to see a little bit of Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville through my lens. And if I could bless kids with that, I feel like, you know, I'd do that for all of them I could, especially young black boys. Just give them this view. You don't have to choose it. You may go to any other school, but now you know that this world exists. It's wide open, and we having our way too. It's not what you think, and you can have some fun with it. So yeah, first and foremost, make it fun. If it's in your prayer life, your spiritual life, your health life, your physical life, your work life, don't be a slave to your work. Find some fun in that. Your 15-minute break or your hour-long lunch, so that your life doesn't become so mundane with just doing the everyday, same old, ordinary. You gotta have some fun.
Yeah, man.
You gotta look at the problems of your life and say, that's today. Tomorrow might be something completely different. And if it's not, I'ma change that and do something that at least helps me forget that. And it doesn't have to be no substance abuse or none of that. It just may be something cool with getting on the phone and laughing with my homeboys or homegirl to make it worth living. They say I think Jimmy Valvano said, if you love, laugh, and cry in the same day, you've lived a full life.
Yeah, I agree.
Or something of that nature. So yeah, fun's got to be there. And then the lock in on focus just comes from thinking. You know, don't get too lost in the sauce. You know, no matter where you are, who you with, what you're doing, there's a level of fun that you need to be mature enough to say, all right, who's around me?
That's real.
What we got going on?
That's real.
It's popping in here, but you know, if you're with your lady, it's about time for us to leave. If you're with your people, let's make our move now so that you never get yourself too caught into the action. We've seen, unfortunately, what getting too caught in the action can do, and you know, you hate it or love it for the brother Diddy. Too much fun can take you to places sometimes.
That's right.
And that focus is also critically important. You know, my first vote, though being raised around him, having him at my church, knowing him through the community, was President Bill Clinton. I wasn't able to vote. I'm sorry, I was in high school, so I wasn't able to cast my first vote till I was 18 and in college. But I watched Bill Clinton grow up in Arkansas to become president, from grade school to when he won in '92. And with all of that greatness, an amazing connector, an amazing legal mind, you know, the truth, you know. So I'm calling the first black president for a while before we got our brother Obama in there. But it got him to a place where maybe that and too much fun took him to something that I often tell young people: don't allow for your talents and actions to take you places that your character can't keep you.
Mm.
So you can be talented, you can put all that work in and have all the actions, but if your character ain't buttoned up, Diddy, anybody in this world, I'm not saying that brother's character isn't buttoned up. You have to have that focus in there to check your own character and know when enough is enough. So if you allow for your fun to get you to a place, with your talents and actions that your character can't sustain you, you're a shipwreck waiting to happen.
Yeah,
you got to have a self-check barometer. You got to have a temperature gauge, just in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Tell us about the podcast, Stronger with Armstrong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
My last name, Armstrong, is a very valued and vibrant name. Our roots are strong in Arkansas, coming out of Altamar, Arkansas. My great-great-grandfather, Urias Armstrong, and then my grandfather, and Lewis. No, Urias is my great-great, Lewis, and then the children. Then my grandfather, who is Eddie Armstrong, Sr., and then my dad, Eddie Armstrong, Jr., and me. And I was driving down Interstate 30 a few years ago, and I think one of the banks had a sign out on the interstate on the billboard that said Arkenstrong, and there was a play on it. And I was like, that's close to my name. Hold on, let me grab this. And I had no desire to be a part of the social media world anymore. I had taken some losses that really impacted me, and one of those losses, a part of the feedback you get when you're on social media is people vicariously either want to live through you or try and tear you down because you posting too much. It's a double whammy. That internet don't lose either. It's $1 million. No, they gonna get you. So when I peeled off of the internet and social media, I was like, I ain't doing it no more. And I got this child that's on YouTube, and I'm monitoring and parental guides, and I was like, just no. And my staff and team really came to me and said, you really should think about this. Your access and relationships and what you've worked for over the last 25 years. I tell people I'm a 25-year overnight success. It's taken me 25 years and I'm still churning. But those relationships in Arkansas specifically were rich. And I thought, I want to tell stories about Arkansans, from the mud, as we call them.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary and ordinary people exemplifying strength, not glorifying resilience, but showing resilience.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we like, and maybe too often we like, the story of pulling it up by the bootstraps as opposed to everybody having it whole. One of my organizations I represent, Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation, and Alice has a platform there, Asset Limited Income Constrained Families of Arkansas, also known as the working class poor in the old days. But these are people with 2 or 3 jobs still not making enough to get by. And I thought, we got to go tell stories about not glorifying resilience, but showing it straight up right now.
Absolutely.
So we set out. I got some ideas from my staff and team, smarter people than me, younger than me, internet connected and savvy as far as Disney, Spotify, started tech companies, new things. And they locked me in and said, you should think about it. I said, no. Edison said, you got to do it, Daddy. You're going to go viral like Case and I was like, who is that? ISO Speed. It was like, man. And so he shows me these kids, and he said, don't forget to tell people to like and subscribe, because he's always, be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube.
Keep Edison real close. He knows something.
He in it.
He knows something.
So I went back to my team. I was like, yo, let's go for it. And this is what we're going to call it, Stronger with Armstrong. I think we should set out a path to meet as many people where they are, in their neighborhoods, at their offices, in their pulpits, in the hood, at the bank, on the corner, in the church, wherever we can find them, we're going to go see them. And we're going to have a great conversation dialogue talking about their personal life, their professional lives, and what makes them stronger, what makes their community stronger, what makes our state stronger, or the latter. And it's really been one of the easiest things I've done. Doesn't even feel like work. I'm following instructions really well. They tell me what not to worry about. I was just gonna jump off the porch with my phone and a little DJI camera, and they were like, "You can't do that. We're gonna button this up in a way to where it is professionally cut. We got all of that. You just be Eddie Armstrong." And then they came with the concept and asked me what I thought about launching it. As we were visiting off camera before a live studio audience. And I was like, why? All the podcasts I see are one-on-one, we're having conversations. And I thought about that some more, and it goes back to your earlier questions of who I am. I'm a servant leader, and I believe in sharing what I've got. And I think my access to these relationships are gifts to me. And if I can call on these people and they can offer me insight, information that we normally talk about, but I ain't talking to the other 10%. I mean, 90%, it's only my 10% bubble. And I was like, let's just turn the camera on and start having these conversations. So we took this approach of a live studio audience to invite people in to share, politicians with them, business leaders with them. And that's where we started. We're hoping to scale that up, no play on story scaling, but we're looking to scale that up.
Absolutely.
And go wherever people are. So, people ask me, so how's your podcast going? And I'm just like, it's really beautiful because it's not work.
Absolutely.
And I'm not overthinking it.
Absolutely.
Do I take the time to do my research as you've done, know who I'm speaking to? And in my first interview, my mom said, I could tell you were nervous, but the thing I'm most proud of is you did your homework.
Absolutely.
And I was like, word, if that's what this is about, my intentions are to continue to share information. It wasn't about going viral. It is primarily right now to do something organic, off the ground. Should somebody find us or be watching it and say, we want to lock in with him, let's collaborate. I'm looking for collaborating opportunities for great pods. Across the country, and especially in Arkansas, to start having these conversations, cultural conversations, food conversations, clothing conversations, professional conversations, financial conversations, access to new jobs and industry conversations, where's the future going conversations. I want them all. And the only way I think that I can get those conversations and receive them is if I'm a pipeline to sharing them with other people.
Absolutely.
And every call I've made, I've not gotten a no. People are like, either I'll think about it or yes, absolutely. And it just comes from a great place of having great established relationships. So I'm taking advantage of my gifts from friends and relationships I have, and I'm sharing those gifts, which is why we launched Stronger with Armstrong. And I hope it goes well, but in my opinion, it's gone great.
It's already
my biggest joy was the first night we popped out. We put it on the big screen at the house, and Edison had the opportunity to be with me this week, week, and we watched a little bit of it, and all he wanted to know was how many subscribers I had. And I said, son, we got 10 subscribers, and he danced and jumped all over that living room. It was like, yes! And to see this child's joy over 10 subscribers gave me all the indication that I needed, that I was doing the right thing, because while he may be on it for the subscribers, it's no different than Ebony or Essence magazine coming out to give people something that they otherwise were not getting. Absolutely. And the subscribership went up. Of course, that's a vehicle and they're selling it. I got a real job. And I enjoy my job in government relations and representing the clients and companies that I represent. But this is now a passion project.
Absolutely.
And a fun project, to be honest with you. You might see me in September at a boots on the ground competition or something. Arkansas State U of A game. We're playing down in Little Rock, and it's not, I'm up here ain't a lot of buzz on it, but we intend to have, the welcome mat out for my friends that are coming from Northwest Arkansas or Northeast Arkansas for that game in Little Rock. And then, UAPB and UCA are playing right up the road, so Central Arkansas is going to be a buzz. It's going to be booming. I can't let people come down there and not have a welcome mat open, so we're going to pot it out. We're going to party it out. We're going to do it with a purpose. And we're going to help some people along the way. But that's what Stronger with Armstrong is all about, highlighting that and sharing my gifts with other people.
I love it, man. There's been a through line in your story of boldness, of connecting, and of helping. Since, you go back to when you was in the 6th grade on that, even calling the homies and saying like, okay, this is how we come. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a connection aspect. And then you go into your journey. You go to school, and now you are representing the Boys and Girls Club of America, and then up to now, even the podcast in and of itself is sharing. First of all, it's highlighting people whose stories might not always be championed, and then it's sharing that information with the people like me or like Colin or people who need to see it and be like, man, I can see myself represented in that person. So, man, just giving you your flowers and saying kudos for that. And what would you say to that person out there that wants to do something similar, that wants to either start a podcast, that's afraid to put themselves out there on Instagram because of the comment section, that don't want to do TikTok because they don't know how it's going to be received? Like, what would you say to that person, that creator?
You know, with technology today, what I've learned is just not to overthink it. And that's easier said than done. Let me be real with you. For Edison, 10 subscribers is legit. I called my producer a week ago and I said, how does South Memphis Hype Man have 65,000 likes and followers in less than 2 weeks? And he said, if that's what you want to do, we can flip the script and go that route. You can just go out here with your phone and do that and be that authentic and organic, and that page will turn too. Or we can stay true to the mission at hand, keeping the main thing, which is who you are, and the rest will follow. And that is what I've been on now, is like, okay, distractions, block them out. Stay in my lane, stay doing what I'm doing it with purpose, staying guided. So I tell young people or people out there, creatives especially, number one, don't overthink it. Number two, you got to write it down and make it clear, see your vision. They gave me an idea. I went home, I put pen to paper. I put Stronger with Armstrong on that paper because it came to me. What do we want to talk about? Everything. Why do we want to talk about it? Information and access. So these things I wrote down, and now you got the spirit of AI and chat. So if you've got the mindset to think through it, line it up, sit it down, look at it, and then start to roll through it without all of the distractions. We are in an age of hyper distraction. Today's news is Epstein. 2 weeks ago was the border, or the Coldplay concert, a distraction. There are real issues and real problems and real opportunities going on in our country and in our state that we're oftentimes too distracted by the scroll of the thumb. And so I just encourage young people to do that. I would be lying if I said fear doesn't exist, but I don't see it as fear. And so I would tell young creators out there or young people trying to come through this life to let your fear become a part of your fuel. It's a liken to me going to speak in front of 20,000 people. Am I nervous? Absolutely. Or 10 people. My assistant Erica says, Mr. Armstrong, you know you got it. You've been talking since, you just go out there and say it. But in my gut, I'm nervous. With the notes, I'm nervous. The lights are on. I hope this lands and measures, but there's still a nervousness there. But I've learned, and I'd encourage you all to learn to allow for maybe your fear to be your fuel. Let those things that maybe tap you on the shoulder and say, no way, you can't do it, to be dominated by your other shoulder saying, you got it, you prepared, you're there. You could just show up and say 10 words, but you did that. You finished that. And whether Stronger with Armstrong goes 50 episodes or we cut it off tomorrow, I did it. And I'm proud of it. And I intend to finish it and finish it right. But I started that. And I would encourage young people to do that. And I'm not the tech guy. I can't tell you. I had to ask them, who's going to administer this? Because I got these pages set up, but now how you boost the likes, and is it on LinkedIn, and the story or the reels on Instagram aren't the same on Facebook. That ain't my lane. And I want to be clear about that. So if you're out there and you're a creator, own your lane, know your lane, stay authentic and true to your lane. Don't be afraid to ask others for support. Don't be afraid to peep other people's podcasts. I did my homework, watched a lot of them, still do listen to a lot of them. And I picked out the things that I wanted. It's very similar to your question about the leaders and mentors I had. Everybody wasn't the greatest mentor or leader. Many of them were people that I was watching for things that I didn't want to do. Mayors, governors, heads of state, preachers, teachers. I liked them. Maybe it was how they dressed, maybe it was how they talked, maybe it was something they did. But then I also watched them and took notes on, when it's my turn, if I should ever have a turn, I'm not going to do that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a collection of good mentors for both reasons, not just people that was calling to put $1 in my pocket or calling to give me advice. It was some people that were acting out, and I was like, no, I'm not going to flow that way.
Sure.
And so that's how I move. And I think people would be like, well, you're an amazing leader. And one of my great OGs and mentors said, I'm only a leader because I'm a servant first.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to serve puts all that other stuff in its own category. I don't need a title to serve. I don't need a major salary to serve. But out of that service, man, like I said, I'm extremely rich and I'm stronger because of it, and I hope that, stories scale and become stronger and we collaborate. And now that I know, Bang, you as a man and having some Northside roots.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Court Chronicles and all my guys out there on the North Side that will see this.
Shout out to them all.
They were inspirations to me, guys that I hung out with and grew up with. They started their pod, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do this now.
Right.
I really came into it. So who I am is who I am. And if you really know me, you're like, yeah, that's legit. That's really who this guy is. And
Yeah.
I don't get too high on it, and I don't get too below it either anymore. Life has taught me to try and stay right there,
Mm-hmm.
authentic, consistent, true to thine own self at all times. And yeah, I'm standing on black and trying to encourage young black boys and young black girls to see themselves through a person like myself. Because when I was a kid, I was told that I was going to die, I was going to go to prison, or I was going to have a baby. Not that I had a chance to be married, not that I had a chance to be a CEO or a doctor. Statistics show this is where you're going to be. And right outside my door in Little Rock, Arkansas at the time, more young brothers were dying or going to prison or having babies than I could count. And that, for me, said, all right, I got a mission. And so if I can show other young people, and my relationship circle is the rainbow of the world, but on principle, I don't have to go out and scream that I'm black or African American, any of that. I'm living comfortably within my sin, authentically me, and hopefully becoming a better example every day for my son and for my nieces and nephews and cousins that, hey, you can do this, you can be this, and I'm not too flashy. I drive and I do this, but I'm, growing up like you used to grow up seeing your uncles with the big caddy and
Absolutely.
the Dookie Gold chains and the things. If you got a chance to see somebody like that, that was amazing to you. And now I feel like it's my turn, and if I'm out here, I want them to see me and be like, oh, that's a whole different version I didn't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I could be that kind of guy or that kind of girl. That, if you can just show them a little bit, you don't have to force their hand. Young people ain't taking it like that, no.
Right.
They thinking too fast, and clearly you can get Google to tell you, did you say that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to just try and live it, less of what I say and more I live.
That's it. Man, Eddie, thank you for your time.
Word. Thank you, man. This has been a great, great opportunity. I hope to, I consider Northwest Arkansas a place that, I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of the fabric that made me. I came from North Little Rock at 17, 18, and this was my first home out of my mom's house. And it did something to me in a lot of ways. And now I've seen it grow to this metropolis, and I know they're on a mission to recruit and attract and retain people from all over the world now, not just at the university, but for these corporations too.
Absolutely.
And if I can be a statesman and an ambassador and plug into Northwest Arkansas and have a piece up here and have a piece down there and do it for the right cause and reason, I want to be here. Not just cheering for the Hogs on Saturday or my boys on the hardwood on Tuesdays and Fridays and Saturdays with Coach Cal. I want to be a part of the business and the local community. Because people that were here before I got here, the Don Friesens and Cole Petersons, OGs that were here making marks before I got here, laid some good cornerstone. And so I'm going to be in the state, why not?
Yes, sir.
Why not?
Man, we'll have you back if you'd be willing to come
100%.
back.
If we can chop it up like this anytime and, get into what real scalability looks like, let's recap, revisit where Stronger with Armstrong is as a podcast, or how my company's doing, Armstrong and Associates, and what it's doing.
Yeah.
And what special projects we have going on out there. Yeah, and what y'all are doing. It's kind of low-key secret sometimes. The only thing most of what we hear done in Central Arkansas is Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson was in North. What?
Yeah.
Or Babyface is performing, or Rick Ross is there, or Bone Thugs, and you get these shows, and Life is Beautiful. It's like, they doing something.
Just come see.
Yeah.
Just come see.
Yeah, I love it. And, the Waltons, shout out to them. They could have done this anywhere else in the world, but for her to say that she wanted to create Crystal Bridges and envision Bentonville and Crystal Bridges being the Central Park of the Middle America, and I know what wealth on Fifth Avenue across the street from Central Park looks like, and the Waltons could have easily packed up and been right across and maybe got a crib up there on 63rd and 5th.
Easily.
But they're right here.
Mm-hmm.
And the grandsons right here, and they spinning it right here, and they spinning it in East Arkansas. They spreading their stuff out, and we gotta appreciate that, and then carry it on a little bit more, break down some more barriers, so that it can look like the rest of the world, and not based off of party affiliation or what president is in office. If you want to work, earn a good living, get a good education, raise your kids in a safe environment, live within your means that you can afford, and have a decent way of life, Arkansas is a great place to be. In Northwest Arkansas, I think, is one of the front runners right now for showing the rest of the state how that can be done. But it's because of the investments that are being made from the Waltons and the Tysons and the Hunts and the people that are up in this rich pot.
Absolutely.
I hope other proportions of the state start to capitalize on taking advantage of how can we build it, brand it, and show others how to do that too.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Eddie, I appreciate your time, brother. Till next time, boss man.
Chris, you want to?
That's perfect. Man, that's perfect, bro. That's perfect. That's perfect. These conversations,
They be fire, man.
Man.
These conversations, I come away from everyone, I'm like, wow.
it make it worth it. I'm telling you, it make it worth it. I enjoy getting stories. That's why story scaling, because as much as I like to be a avid reader, that's a muscle I gotta flex. But this is my version of reading. I'm downloading information. It's just like a documentary. I'm learning about you, and then it's an edifying conversation as well. It's not draining. It's life-giving. I'm finna go to sound check Rick. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. Legit and so, man, I appreciate you stopping through.
Where's the bug?
And anytime you
I'm gonna see you tonight. What is it, a door, a gate, none of that?
It's free.